This is the Wellness Puzzle Podcast with Andrew Jobling, author, speaker, educator, entrepreneur, and AFL player. Join Andrew as he continues his lifelong journey as a student of human behaviour. This podcast will help you live your passion, explore your potential, step into your power, and embrace your possibilities.
Andrew Jobling, welcome to the Wellness Puzzle Podcast for another incredible episode. I've just had another fabulous conversation with Emily Chidia, who has been a guest previously. She was in episode 245. Can't believe that was almost 12 months ago, called Embody Your Potential. And Emily is a very inspiring human. She's been through a lot of trauma in her life, which we will touch on. She is now a coach. She's now a speaker. She's now doing everything she can to help people embody their potential. And what we chat about today is very much about the process that it takes to do just that. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this incredible conversation with Emily Chidiak. Well, how excited am I to be here with Emily Chidiak again? Hello.
Hello, Andrew. How are you?
I'm fabulous, Em. How are you?
Very good. Very excited for this topic, this conversation today.
Wow. Hey, every time you and I talk, it's a great conversation.
I know, I have so much fun. It's just like talking to a friend. It's great.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Since we did our first podcast, Em, which was, if I check my records, back in December last year.
I thought it was this year. It was last.
It was Embody Your Potential, episode 245. Well, I'm now well over 300 episodes.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool.
Amazing.
You were 245.
Wow.
And that was an awesome conversation. And I really want to encourage people that haven't heard from this incredible human, want to find out more about her backstory, listen to that.
That was an epic episode. I really enjoyed it.
That was epic.
Mm.
Because you had to embody your potential to actually do the podcast, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a spiral session prior to it, but it was big evolution for me. So it was really good.
It was good.
Mm.
So, Em, it's been like well over hang on. We're talking now. It's almost September as you and I are recording
I can't believe it. I was just saying that to a client this morning. It's
9 months.
September.
9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we've probably known each other now about 12 months, and we connected on LinkedIn, and haven't we just connected? Like, wow, just.
I say to myself, you're an angel in my life, like a guardian angel looking over me. There's little things that have happened that you've dropped in, and I just feel like that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's beautiful. And I feel the same. I mean, you're there. We've been there for each other, haven't we, over the last 12 months?
Yeah,
and
like
we've both been
friendship.
through some stuff.
Yeah.
We caught up in Sydney, and
oh my God, we went out.
we had a fun night, didn't we? And then we've run a little event together online, and we've both been through some challenges over the last 12 months, and we've been there for each other, which is awesome.
It's beautiful. It really is. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, same. And grateful that you're here again.
I know.
So, and we're going to talk, I know we've sort of discussed a bit of a topic, and I'm always a little bit hesitant to go into a podcast with a plan.
Yeah.
Because I think when you go in with too strict a plan, you can miss the magic, and there's always magic when you and I chat. So I don't want to say too much right now, but what I do want to why don't you, just for people that haven't met you, and shame on them, a little bit about your background.
Oh gosh, where do you want me to start?
Well, what are you doing these days, and why are you doing it?
I think right now I really have a calling to help people get what they want in life, and not from a place of ego, not from a place of needing anything outside of us, but to remember that we are deserving and are worthy of our dreams. And, the path to fulfillment is to believe in what we want, whether that's a healthy, loving relationship, or to start their business, or to have a healthy body, whatever it is. Right now I have this energy in my field, and I just want to remind people that you can, and it is possible, and it is about overcoming our inner fears and our shadows and our projections that we project onto the world, that we can't have this thing or we can't do this thing, and like reframing that.
Yep.
And that comes from, I had an upbringing that definitely did not instill any belief within myself, or, I didn't have guidance in life, and I had to overcome so much trauma and childhood trauma and abuse in my life. So for me to say that you can have what you want despite your past experiences or your current adverse circumstances. Maybe you don't have a life that you prefer right now. I feel like I have the story to back that up, that I can beckon you forward and onwards into the future and to no longer drag the past into the present, essentially.
Awesome. Well, there you go. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty amazing. And your business and your brand is called Embody Your Potential,
Yep.
correct?
Hmm.
So tell us what it means from
Yeah.
your point of view. And also, I want to just remind people of our last conversation when you came into it and you
Mm.
really had to embody your potential because you weren't feeling it at the time. And this is an important point because we don't always feel like getting up and going to exercise, or we don't always feel like having a conversation with someone, or we don't always feel that we're good enough
Yeah.
to write the book or to be the speaker or to get the promotion or to whatever it might be. Give us
Yeah.
a quick definition of embody your potential and just share with us what happened to you when we spoke the first time on a
I
podcast.
love that you brought that up again. It's about changing our state. So we are here to embody our potential to be who we're here to be, which is just our authentic selves, like releasing the masks and the all the crap and being able to show up as we are. Now, when we did our first podcast, I had a lot of fear come up that I didn't know what I was going to say or I didn't feel good enough, and I had to actually sit with that, and I had to use tools and practices to change my state so I didn't cancel the episode, so I did show up, so I was able to be who I am here to be,
Yep.
so I could feel just like myself again.
Yep.
And that was such a it was a catapult into my highest potential, into so much for me. Just that with you doing that,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So embodying our potential is about, it's it feels like very real blocks in between like where we are and what we want to do and achieve. And we can actually create these narratives that make it feel very real. Why we can't exercise, why we can't have
Yep.
our dream body, why we can't show up and be on a podcast. And it's up to us to reparent ourselves and to use tools and practices to it's kind of like to rewrite that narrative in the moment. Like embodying is like really in the moment.
Yep.
It's not like it's like you're so what I did on that day with the podcast, for example, with you, I had to do a little meditation. I had to move my body. I had to do a bit of journaling. I had to sit with my emotions. And I did these steps, and it completely shifted my energy and my perception of myself. And I think it's just coming home to ourselves.
Yep.
It's getting out of all the fear and the old stories. So it truly is about shifting our state, but it's the coming home. It's not about trying to be anything other than ourselves. Our success in life is feeling safe to be who we are.
Yeah. And being yourself doesn't mean you're without fear. And it
Mm.
doesn't mean you're without insecurity because all of us have it. The difference is just not letting that
It's
stop.
when we pretend that we don't have it and something's wrong instead. Like, oh, this feels off. Maybe I shouldn't do the podcast, instead of actually, maybe this is a fear and an insecurity coming up. You
So
know,
it means I should definitely do the podcast because if I
yeah,
don't, then it's just reinforcing the fear.
yeah, and
And if
completely,
you do it, it's actually embodying your potential.
yeah. And when you know that's something you want to do, we have to overcome these little hurdles within us.
Mm. So that was a powerful little message, which
Mm.
really set up that first podcast. It was awesome. So again, I recommend people listen to that
Yeah.
because it comes back to this. All of us, as you said, there's a gap between where we feel we are and where we want to be or who we want to become. But you've got to step in to that space before you can physically move. You've sort of got to spiritually, metaphorically step forward to what you say, embody your potential before you can actually take the physical step towards that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I know for me, when I'm feeling fear to do something, I ask myself a question: what would a confident, courageous, kind,
Reframe.
purposeful, determined person do right now? What would that person do? Because that's the person I want to be,
Yeah.
based on who I feel what my identity is. That's who I want to be. Now, when I ask that question, well, the answer is simple: you go for it, you do it. You do it because it's going to have a positive impact on your life. It's going to have a positive impact on other lives. So when we ask the question, what would this person who we want to embody do in this situation? The answer
Mhm.
comes to us. And then all we've got to do is just take the
And I
step.
love that you do that, right? And this is really important for the listener. You're doing shadow work in the moment. You're actually changing your belief system and your perception of yourself in the moment. So you have that tool. The fear comes up and you go, what story am I creating? What reframe am I going to create? What do I want to believe? What do I want to perceive about myself? And how, so you're actually doing the work in the moment. So that is embodying your potential. You have that tool within you.
I learned that from you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you've got that. So that's beautiful. So those who don't yet have that, it is very, very simple, but it actually is catching. It's like CBT in therapy, which is not all the only tool that we need, but CBT, it's we catch, the thought, the story, and we catch it and we look at
Yeah,
it.
you've got to catch it. Yeah,
What story am I creating? And then we do a reframe, and that is it. It's
that
not
is
me
it.
having it.
But I
It's
think before the reframe, Em, you've got to know what your potential looks like.
mm,
But I also think you've got to have, because I think for a lot of people, they imagine a person they want to be, but they don't believe they can be that person. So
yeah,
even when you say, what would this person do? The little voice in their head saying, well, that's not you. You can't do that. That's a different
yeah,
person.
and that voice isn't theirs, it's someone from the past.
Yeah. So I think when you start to, for me, it was about, okay, well, thinking about what are the qualities that I actually already have that I just need to bring forward more and use more. Like I know I am courageous and I know I am kind. I know that about myself. I know I am emotionally mature. I know I am spiritual. I know I am generous and supportive and resourceful and determined. I know I am those things because I've exhibited those things already in my life. So
Yeah.
I don't have to convince myself that I am those things. I just have to remind myself.
It's remembrance.
And I think that's all it is, isn't it? Embodying your potential
Yes.
is just reminding yourself or remembering the qualities that you already have
And no
and
longer believing the old.
getting rid of the old
Yeah.
rubbish.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You don't even have to focus so much on the old anymore. You just have to go towards the future, the positive
Yeah.
reframe, as you just said.
Yeah. So it's deliberate, isn't it? It's about deliberately going one way or the other because
There's the word deliberate.
we've got two voices, haven't we? And we can, it's which one we listen to is which determines the path we take.
I wrote this down because I had some fears, which we can talk about, but about moving recently, right? And I said, I am looking at the worst case scenario only. I need to change this into the positive outcomes only because you cannot be in fear and happy. You can't be negative and positive at the same time.
No,
So I had to choose. And this is what people need to understand. It is deliberate work, it is catching it and transforming and changing it in the moment.
that's awesome. Hold that thought, and we're going to have a break, come back, and we're going to dig a bit deeper into that. We'll be back. So, Em, you had told me before we start recording, you've just moved. So you're now telling me about this fear that you had about moving,
Mhm.
but you've moved. You're in a new place. You're in a
Mhm.
beautiful spot in the
Central Coast.
central
Outside
coast of New
of-
South Wales. So
Yeah.
you're near the water, I'm assuming.
Yeah, pretty much.
You've
Yeah.
got birds and you've got trees and you've got nature and you've got joy all around you. Tell us about the fear that you had. How did you break through to be now in this new home?
I made the decision that I wanted to move. And it's funny, I actually created the action first this time. I made the decision first. The second day, I went and viewed a property. And the third day, I signed a lease. I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So this time around, the fear and the reservations actually came after. What if I'm making the wrong decision?
Yeah,
What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if, things go wrong? So it was the what if, which is a lack of faith.
yeah,
It's fear-based.
yeah.
So it was that, sometimes we experience fear before we do the thing, but this time I just pushed my,
Second guessed yourself.
yes, it was the second guessing. That's it. And you know what it is? It's the belief that I can't figure it out along the way. It's the belief that we won't have enough emotional resilience to take care of ourselves, to back ourselves, to get it done, to figure it out. So I was really aware of that. And I was like, oh,
Mm.
interesting that you think that you're not going to be okay because you're not going to be able to back yourself and that life and the universe won't back you as well. So I had to choose to actually change that in the moment. And funnily enough, I got to my home and had been broken into. And that tied into another fear of living alone and being unsafe. So I
Wow.
transmuted several fears just through this move. And it's been so incredible. Um, and even just being here, I'm learning that there's pieces of me that don't want to be in the process or be present because I'm fearing the next.
Interesting.
I'm having to pull myself back while I'm here too.
Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
So this is going to lead us nicely into the topic we sort of semi-discussed, isn't it? And I want to tell a little bit of a little story because I think this then
Please.
highlights this point.
Mm.
So back in 2022, it was about August 2022, I think. I think it was August 2022. I was just renting a place, and I'd only been there 9 months. And then I went to my mailbox and got a letter, and I had a notice to vacate. So I had 3 months to get out. So I just moved in effectively, and now I'm getting a notice to vacate. You've got 3 months, you got to get out. And I thought to myself, fear. There was fear there going, oh my gosh, it's hard enough to find a place to rent. Where am I going to go? How am I going to do it in 3 months?
Mm.
All these fears came up. And I prayed on this, and I spoke to a mentor of mine who, and in both cases, the thought came to me, you need to buy a place. And I'd been thinking about buying a place for a long time, but again, fear had
Yeah.
stopped me. But in that moment, I now had the rug pulled out from under me. I really had the bridge burnt. I had to do it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really have any choice. So now keep this in mind. It was August. I had 3 months. By November, August, September, October, November, I had to find a place, buy it, settle, move, or I was going to be homeless.
The universe is like kicking your
I'm
ass.
going, oh my gosh. And so I'm fearful. But then
Yeah.
I stopped thinking about that outcome. I thought, well, there's a deadline there. I don't have any choice about that, so I can forget about that.
Yeah.
I thought, what do I need to do? What do I
Mm.
need to do right now? So
Yeah.
in that moment, I got into the process, which is what I know what you and I are going to spend some time on. I got into the process. What was the process? Okay, I need to jump online and I need to go to realestate.com, and I've got to find out where all the open for inspections are in the areas that I want to live. And over the next, Emma, it was really only 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks. I reckon I looked at probably 60 properties.
You went into hyper
The
mode.
la yeah, like so that was a Thursday. That following Saturday, I think I looked at 10. The Saturday after, I looked at probably 10, and in
Yeah.
between, I was looking at them. And then the following Saturday, I was rushing. I had this final um, inspection. It was about 4 o'clock on Saturday, and I was running late. And I'd looked at 8 or 10 before, and I'm getting discouraged, thinking, oh, I'm not going to find this place. I don't know. There's nothing out there. It's all rubbish, blah, blah, blah. You know, the negative self-talk that's
Mhm.
happening. And I'm heading to this place that I'm going to look at. And I get there, I'm running late because I'd overlapped it with a previous inspection. And I get there and I couldn't find a park. And there's seriously only about 5 minutes left in this open for inspection.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I'll just forget about it.
Mm.
Mm. Thankfully, I didn't forget about it.
Mm.
Something said, no, Andrew, go in. You need to go in. So I
Yeah.
finally found a park. 1 minute left of this open for inspection. 1 minute. I sprint. I get there. She's just about to close the door. I said, hold it.
Yeah.
I went into this apartment. The second I walked up these stairs into this apartment, and the light and the beautiful, I thought, this is it. This is my
Yeah.
home. This is my home. I put in an offer on the Monday. It was accepted on the Tuesday. I moved in within 30 days. So within 2 months of this, oh my gosh, I've got to get out.
Mm.
I've only got 3 months to find a place, buy a place, settle on it, move. 2 months later, I was living in this amazing place, and I love it. And so the point is, when you set a goal or have something you want to achieve in life, too many people don't they? They focus on, oh my gosh, how will I make that happen? They think about, yeah, you've got to have a goal, you've got to have a deadline, but they think,
Never
they
know
look
how.
at it, look at it, look at it. It's like looking at the top of the mountain going, oh, how am I ever going to get to the top, rather than focusing on, okay, what's the
Yeah.
next step in the process. And the fact that I live here now and I love where I live, and it's amazing, and I'm so grateful, and I know I'm divinely led here. I know
Yeah.
that. Uh, but without that process, focusing on make the calls, look at the opens, do the
Yeah.
da 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 da, da, this would never happen.
Yeah.
So I want to tell that story because you and I talked. I took lots of notes when we chatted last week or the week
Yeah.
before, whenever we chatted.
Yeah.
The process.
Can I ask you a question in regards to that story you just told?
Yes.
How did you feel through that process? Like,
Oh, interestingly, I never doubted the fact that I'd find a place.
okay. Yeah.
So I was discouraged at times, for sure.
Mm.
Uh, I started to get to the point where I thought, there's just nothing. But in my heart, I just knew I would find the most perfect place. I said to
Mm.
myself, I'll know it. I kept saying to myself, as soon as I walk in, I will know. And
Yeah.
plenty of places I walked in and they weren't it, but I was trying to convince myself that this was the place. Oh, this is
That is
okay.
the fear. That's the fear, certainly. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. And there was the things that you negotiate a little bit and you sort of oh, that's not what I wanted, but it'll be okay. Oh, that's not great, but I can make that work. And I was almost getting to the point where I was going to settle. But I thought, no, Andrew, you'll know it as soon as you walk in the door.
Did you apply? Did you put in an offer for any of those that you were kind of unsure about?
I can't even remember, Em, to be honest. I don't think
Just because it's so common when we're in
I,
fear, we kind of want to rush to the
yeah,
end.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and you said it's not exactly what I want, but I'll settle. It's kind of like, but if that was, we put an offer that just showcases our fear. But if, it was blocked, you were being
I think I
divinely,
knew. I think I knew.
you knew,
And I also know
always
in my
know.
life, I know in my life
Yeah.
when if I focus on the process of writing a book and keep going, I'll have a book. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about whether I'll have a book. If I do I know from a physical health point of view, I know I don't have to worry, am I going to be healthy? I don't know, oh my gosh, am I going to be healthy? Will I wake up healthy tomorrow? I know my process is I get out of bed, I exercise, I eat well, I drink my water, I take my supplements, I do all the things. I focus on joy and gratitude every single day. I pray every day. I don't
Yeah.
need to worry.
Yeah.
So tell
So
us a bit about your journey now, where you are now. And because really you're here, there was fear. You said you was fear after you'd make the decision to move.
yeah,
But
I
you're here.
realized in the
Why? Tell us a bit about your process and how that's helped you negotiate, navigate the fear and end up where you wanted to be.
yeah, it really comes back to I don't want to live a life of fear, and I want to live a life where I know that I can back myself and that I have evidence throughout my life, as we touched on earlier, that I am always okay in the end. Truly, we always are.
We are.
Why do I go back into stressed states? Why do I go back into fear? Why do I go back into that? And that's okay, but it's actually challenging that and whenever that comes up is choosing to transform that and embody a new way of being. Like I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't done that, if I didn't actually challenge the fear-based narratives that came up for me in making the decision to move and then getting here. And even just like I said before, I got here and the house had been broken into, a whole door had been smashed in. So people had broken into the house before I arrived. And even that was like, oh, one of my deepest fears is living alone, someone breaking into my home, and I'm alone and I get attacked, right? Rational fears.
Yep.
That, like that happening and me getting here, I, in the moment, had to look at this experience, see, meet the police, do a statement, see the door broken in, getting it fixed. And I had to then go, that old narrative, that old fear of you're not going to be safe, that I had to rewrite that.
Well, you had to. And I guess it's looking at things from a different perspective too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it lucky they broke in before you moved in and not after?
Seriously. But I told myself, you have outgrown that. it was this energy of you're outgrowing that. That's not, that's, if you held on to that, you will create these fears. How are you going to sleep at night? Like
Yeah.
you have outgrown that energy. And I think it's because I've experienced it in my lifetime. So sometimes we're really stuck in it and it's hard to get out of that fear. But I think because I've been through this, I've spiraled through this in different times of my life. I got here and I said, nah, we're not doing that.
Well, that's awesome, man, because what you've done, you've applied some logic to fear.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't do that. You've applied logic, right? And the logic is this. Well, look, there's a chance that someone might break in.
It's
Like there's
always,
a chance for all of us that someone might break in. We cannot remove that. But
yeah.
that's not in your control. And if you spend your whole life worrying about it, your life is miserable.
Even saying that the language, or it's my deepest fear that this will happen. You know what I mean? I even have to erase that
Yeah.
because
But,
that's the narrative itself.
but it's not, it should never be a fear of someone breaking in.
Mm.
If they're
Well,
in your house, yes, okay, you've got reason to be fearful.
yeah,
But the fact that will
self-fulfilling
someone
prophecy.
is there a million to one chance that someone will break in? Why would you be fearful of that? I mean,
That's why I was grateful that, well, as women, it is a bit different, but I was grateful that it happened because I was like, this is kind of, I tell people all the time, we do create our reality to a degree. So we will be met with our fears. We will create them, self-fulfilling prophecy. Someone broke into my house. I had to face it and I got to rewrite that story so that I don't create it. So I
Mm.
don't wake up or lay in bed at night thinking, what if someone breaks in? I don't want to live in fear in any form.
So what is the process? All right, let's go back to process because this is
Yeah.
something I wrote down,
What did
Em.
you write
I wrote
down?
down. I wrote. So, and what I wrote was this: don't rush to the outcome. Enjoy the process, even the tedious stuff.
Yeah,
You and I were talking about that because
yeah.
there's a process of getting through fear as well.
Mm,
And so tell us a bit about what are the things you do, even when you maybe at times still feeling fear? What are some of the things you can do that
mm.
over time break
Well,
that
I
fear
noticed
and
this.
replace it?
I launched a speaking event, right? Emily Talks, and it was the first event. So it was a launch party as well. And I was organizing that. And I was also coming out and being a speaker and da da da. It was such a big thing for me. And I noticed at the start when I was creating this, I told myself, I want to really be in the process between here and getting there. And I don't want to hyper focus on the outcome of getting there because I've done that in the past.
Well, that's where fear is. When you're worrying about the outcome,
Yeah,
will it
and
happen? Can I do it? That's where fear is. But when you're actually in the process, you're in control and the fear seems to
yeah.
disappear.
Because then you're not even in your reality anymore. You're not even living your life. It's just, so it was actually really hard, I'll be honest with you. Um, I noticed that my default was going to stress, was going to the outcome, was going to worry. So I did have to work my way through it. But my intention for being in this process was I want to experience joy. I want this process between here and there to be as joyous as possible, to be as present. I want to feel as present as I can. I want to have as much fun and enjoyment
Yep.
as I can. That is a conscious choice for me because my default would be responsibility and stress.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a question.
Yes.
When the process
Mhm.
is not fun, potentially, like let's say
Mundane stuff.
exercise is hard, or
Yeah.
you're trying to run an event and get people to attend that event, and sometimes that's not fun. And how do you make it fun? How do you bring joy into the process when it's tedious, when
Yeah.
when it's uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient?
Yeah, interesting. I did reflect on that and I noticed that each little thing that I did, whether it was exercise, taking care of myself, selling a ticket, I celebrated every bit of it. Every bit where I felt like I pushed an edge or felt discomfort or was in my body or was present or did a hard thing, I celebrated every little thing. And I think that was it for me. Now, in regards to like exercising, for example, I use self-responsibility for that. I don't whack myself with a stick. It's not that kind of energy. When we're healed, we don't do that anymore. but I'm responsible. I can lead myself. I'm a grown up. I'm reparenting myself. Exercising is a part of taking care of myself. I'm being a leader. I'm leading my life. But I noticed that this responsibility was good, but it was lacking the joy. So I decided to start celebrating every little piece and feeling proud. It was feeling proud of every little thing
Yeah.
I did, even if I just ate enough protein today, you know?
Yeah.
It was that. And I
Celebrating the moments.
deliberately do that. You know what I mean? It didn't come natural as well. I think over time it will, but I had to hang on. And it's coming back to the present moment,
Yep.
right to the here and now in order to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm.
Let's have another break, come back and keep chatting about this wonderful topic. If you're enjoying this conversation with Emily Chidiak and you feel like you need help moving through a process, feeling stuck, can see where you want to be, know who you want to become, but not sure how to do that, not sure what the process looks like, and you need some help, I want to encourage you to reach out to Emily. You can book a time for a free 30-minute discovery call, and she will give you some ideas and tips to help you move forward in life. If you'd like to do that, click on the Calendly link in the show notes. I love chatting with you, Em.
I
It's
know.
just natural, isn't it? It flows. We just
Not
talk.
enough time. We need like 3 hours.
We need more time, don't we? But that's okay. We can do more. We can
Yeah.
have more conversations. You were talking about celebrating, and I think that's an important one. Celebrate every single step in the process. Everyone, even the ones that seem so insignificant, like getting out of bed. For example, when your alarm goes off, I do just a little happy dance when I'm up because I'm up. And
Yeah.
that's because if I wasn't up, I'd still be in bed. And if I was still in bed, I wouldn't be moving my body to help
Yeah.
me be healthy and fit and do the things I want to do. So that celebration, when I drink my first glass of water first thing in the morning and I don't feel like drinking water, I celebrate it. I feel good. So I think that's critically important because if you don't celebrate those moments, those little steps,
You're always on to the next.
you'll never get to the destination if you don't see every little step as a win.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a problem. People go, oh, yeah, I'm just doing what I have to do,
Yeah.
rather than I get to do this and
Yeah.
celebrate it. The other thing that really works for me, Em, is understanding where the process is leading. Like just knowing that every step I take is getting me a step closer. I remember back in the many,
Yeah.
many years ago, long before you were even around, when I was aspiring to be an athlete, a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And my gosh, did the process hurt. Oh, it was pain. The physical stress on my body and mind in terms of it was relentless. The training we did, every training session was painful, and there was faint, there was vomit, there was giddy, there was just wanting to give up, and I dreaded it every day. When I knew I had training that evening, I'd be dreading it because, oh my gosh, it's going to hurt. And I thought, I stopped myself, and keep in mind I'm a teenager at this point, so I don't know where I got this wisdom, but I thought, Andrew, if you keep focusing on the pain of the process, you're going to give up.
Yeah.
You're going to give up.
Yeah.
I, and then I started to think, okay, so what is the process doing for me? And I started to think about the benefit of the process. Well, I'm getting fitter. I'm getting mentally tougher. I'm getting more resilient, but it's moving me towards my dream, which is to be a professional athlete. And so it's interesting. What I hated, I actually started to embrace. I started
Yeah.
to enjoy, not because of what it was, but because of where it was leading me and who I was becoming in the process. So there's that. I think there's two steps that you highlighted, the importance of celebrating the step.
Yeah.
And without having to focus on the outcome, you still want to be clear on, okay, I've taken this little step today. I'm a step closer to
Yeah.
finishing
You
my
still
book
want to have the outcome in mind.
in mind, not to be hyper focused on it, but just have it in mind and know that when I get out of bed, I'm another step closer to optimal well-being. When I
Yeah.
write for 5 minutes, I'm another step closer to finishing my next book.
Yeah.
When I
When
make
it's
a phone call, I'm closer to getting a new client or financial goal or whatever it might be.
yeah. I like the analogy of, you becoming the athlete. That's how it felt as well going into this speaking event for me. I did my best to hold on to the joy, but it also was a stretch. So it was to a degree painful, uncomfortable. And I had to, just as you just said, I had to understand that this is the process, this is the way, and to not see it as a negative. And like you said, embrace it. And I told myself, I reframed it, you're stretching. Like you're getting from here to where you want to be. You know that outcome. You want to be a speaker, professional speaker. This is the stretch.
Yeah.
And that helped me because there was
And
definitely
that's perfect, Em. That is so perfect because if the process is not uncomfortable, you are not moving where you want to go. In fact, you're not moving anywhere. You're staying stuck. If it's
I don't want to
comfortable,
avoid discomfort. I don't want to be one of those people. I
it's
want to
got to be uncomfortable.
it
Enjoy
so.
discomfort.
So we need
Celebrate
also,
discomfort.
yes, we need to be able to celebrate. We need the joy and we need to feel the pain and the stretch, but
Yeah, bring
reframe
it
it,
on.
because that's the growth. And there are a lot of people in much love, but that avoid the discomfort. But then you live a life of discomfort because you
Yep.
don't get to where you want to be or you don't get to become who you're here to be.
Yeah,
It is in it. Yeah.
that's awesome. Now, there's a wonderful philosopher. His name's Rocky.
Hmm.
And and Rocky said in Rocky Balboa, talking
Yeah.
to his son, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about
How-
how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How
Yes.
much pain you can take and keep moving forward. Now, that's an extreme example, but
Not
it,
really. I felt that. Look,
it's about feeling the discomfort and stepping into it
yeah.
and stepping through it
Yeah.
because there's always on the other side of the process
Mm.
is joy, abundance, fulfillment, self, you know,
Feel proud.
actualization, pride,
Mhm.
whatever. It's on the other side. And so, but if you feel it while you're doing it, if you go, wow, this comes back to embodying your potential, right? I am that person now. I'm already that person. I now just have to take the action
Take the
for it
step.
to actualize.
Yeah, and I reflected on the kind of hard that I was seeing it as. It's not the kind of hard where I was traumatized and I was, had addictions and I was throwing out my food and I was in toxic, abusive relationships and I was getting thrown around. And my whole life, I cried myself to sleep every night. I cleared all that. This is a different kind of hard. It's a different kind of stretch. And I had to kind of reframe that as well. It's like these are the moments that I prayed for now in this part of my journey that it's okay to do hard things. It's not the same kind of hard though. You got back up after all of that. You survived all of that. Remember, it's not that kind of hard. This is the hard that you're choosing now.
Yeah.
And that was a really big thing for me as well. It's like, oh, you think you can't get up and you can't go put your tickets up and sell your event when you went through all of that and you survived all that? That was hard.
Yeah. This
This
is fun.
to do. Yeah, this is a stretch. This is
Yeah.
evolution. So that was a huge reframe for me,
So
being a survivor. Mm.
yeah, you are a survivor. And Em, I forget, when you and I chat, I forget your story. I forget all the
Um,
things you
yeah.
had to go through. And again, for people listening to this and haven't heard Embody Your Potential, episode 245 with Em, go back and listen to it because what this human has endured, no person should endure. And I look at you and I see this incredible human. I see confident, I see powerful, I see passionate, I just see so much in you and
Mm.
so much that, and you're so polished and you present so beautifully and you speak so well that I forget what you've been through. But you had to go through that process to be who you are today, right? You had to go through that pain, that discomfort. You had to deal with all the limiting beliefs and all the trauma that you'd been through. You had to go through it. It wasn't a wake up one day and it's magically gone. You had to do the process. And
Yeah,
that was process well, you didn't. I was going to say you had to do. No, you didn't have to do it. You chose to do
I
it.
chose that. There
Because
have
a lot
been
of people go through trauma and choose not to do the work and they end up addicted. They end up abusive. They end up dead or in
yeah,
jail, right? We know the outcomes of people that don't choose to go through this process, but you did. And I look at you now and I'm incredibly inspired. So I just want you to know that.
just one little thing I want to say on that. I know we're at the end, but my brother is no longer with us and he did die by suicide and he did choose not to do the work. So I do have actual evidence in my life, and much love to him. He would want me to say this, by the way. He would want me to snap people out of it that we actually do have to overcome. We have to face our wounds. We have to face our shadows and our belief systems and our limiting beliefs. And we do have to do the work and choose our destiny. And I know we can, it's hard when we're really in the thick of it, but we have to keep going. I never gave up. I don't know how. So that's why I had my support people. But that's we have to. You have to do it for yourself. There is no other way unless, we don't go into the, oh, it's too hard and we just give up. In our business, in our relationships, in our mental health, we don't just go into the, it's too hard. I can't do it. No, you get back up. You lean on more support. You dig deeper. You do not give up.
But I love that. Emma's getting fired up, and I love it. But also, you've got to recognize that any trauma you've been through, any rubbish you've been through, is someone else's shit, not yours, right?
Yeah.
Like what you
Made
went
it
through as a
your own.
child is not yours, right? It was
Exactly.
given to you. It was pushed on you.
We don't heal until we remember that
You've got
though.
to know that all this stuff that was said about me is not who I am. That's not me. That's
Yeah.
someone else's lie.
And then you
And
have
you've
to
got to
own all
yes.
the things that you have done. For
Yep.
example, my years in sex work, I have to own that. So if anyone says, weren't you that blah, blah, blah? Yeah. And what? We can't be free.
Well,
We can't heal until we get to that
but
level as well.
but Em, we've all got a story.
Yeah.
So
A lot
you
of
were in
people
sex
are
work. You were in
ashamed.
sex work, but my
Yeah.
gosh, we don't have the time for me to talk about all the crap
Yeah.
that I got into and things I did as a
Right. But
young
they own
man.
it now.
Yeah, you just got to own it. That's my story. I can't change it. It's who I was, not who I
That
am, and
makes
it's not
sense
who
at
I'm
the
becoming.
time.
But
Yeah.
it does help me be a better human now because I now can use it to help other people going through the same situation as can you. So this
Yeah.
is such a wonderful conversation, Emma, as I knew it would be. But I think people are getting the point that the work's hard to get to change is not easy. It's not easy.
No, but it's
You're
the
not going to sit on your
best.
couch. You're not going to wake up. You're not going to, wave your magic, get some magic foo-foo dust sprinkled on you. That will not wait until the stars and the moon are aligned and everything's going,
No, do it.
oh,
Create,
you've
move.
got to
Love
make it
yourself.
happen.
Love yourself enough.
You've got to, and you've got to have faith that
You gotta
you're
have
protected, that someone's got you, that the answers are there, that the path will open, but you've got to take the
that you've got
first
your own
step.
back.
You've got to take the steps, the process. You've got to do it, and with faith and determination, knowing that on the other side is exactly what you're looking for.
One last piece, knowing on the other side that you will have your own back despite any outcome, which is the opposite to self-abandoning, which is the old way of leading yourself. So it's having your own back now despite any outcome as well.
Yeah, wonderful. So, Em, one piece of advice from you to the listeners. Anything
Oh,
you want to say, anything you want to share, anything, wisdom, what's on your heart right now?
the words love yourself keep coming up. I don't know where that's coming from right now, but love yourself. And that sounds so cliche, but truly, you have to love yourself enough to do these things, to go after what you want and to leave the past behind. Like all of it comes back to loving yourself enough, and that is seeing your true reflection and moving from that place.
Yeah. Well, that is it. You've basically nailed it, Em. You
What's
do it.
yours?
You do what you do because of what you think of you,
Yeah,
which means you got to love yourself, or otherwise you're not going to do the things you need to do.
you
I would.
won't. Right?
I'm just going to be a copycat and say that is the answer. You've got to find a way to value you. You've got to find worth in you, and however you need to do that, you've got to do it. And I mean, for me, finding worth in me was just recognizing the fact that the chances of my existence were so infinitesimally small. There's no chance that it could be luck that I'm here, for a purpose. Therefore, my worth is my
Mm.
existence, not anything that I do, not how I look, not how much money I've got in the bank. It's the fact that I'm here is my value. And I think if everyone can own that, then we can start moving forward. We can work from that.
Yeah, get out of the surface level 3D stuff for a little minute and come back in. Get out of the to-do list just for a second and come back in, remember who you are, and then move from that place.
Correct. Correct. Because, and I think we spoke about this in our last conversation, if you're trying to achieve something to feel better about yourself,
Yes.
it's not going to work. It's got to be the other way around. You've got to feel good about yourself, you've got to love yourself, and then you'll be able to achieve the things you want to achieve. And it won't be about feeling better about yourself. It'll be about a much higher purpose. Wow, Em, I think what we've done is we've set up another conversation. So we're going to end this one now because we want people wanting more. We're going to leave them going, I want more, don't stop. Well, sorry, we're stopping. So, Em, how do people find you if they want to continue a conversation with you?
Embodyyourpotential.com.au or Instagram embody_your potential. There is a lot of other ways and avenues coming up, but they're the two main, I think the website or the Instagram.
Awesome. Em, you're a superhuman.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. You're wonderful.
So
Look forward to chatting with you again very soon.
Always. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Welcome. Yay. That was incredible. A fabulous conversation with Em. Oh my gosh, we have robust conversations and I love it. Just flows naturally. So I hope you got a lot out of that. There's a lot of powerful concepts there, but the real key message is when you know what you want and you're clear about how you want to live and who you want to become, keep that in mind, but don't fixate on it. Get into the process. Get into loving yourself. Get into building yourself and then do the things you need to do every single day. Celebrate them. Continue to do them. Keep focused on where it's moving you towards. And on the other side of the process is incredible joy and abundance. But you got to focus and love the moment, love the process. If you'd like to reach out to Emily, you can do that. Go to embodyyourpotential.com.au and you can reach out to her there. You can also book a free discovery call with her using the link in the show notes. Thanks for being with me for this episode. An incredible episode it was, and I hope you will share it with lots of people and then join me for my next episode. My name's Andrew Jobling. This is the Wellness Puzzle Podcast.